Now ready, so let's get into our first game of the day. Hello everybody, and welcome to our first game of King of the Hill Season 3, Episode 2. We have here on the northern side of Longraskaya our current king after taking down Paula in the previous game. It is J for Jet playing as the Brits.
And when you have an anemic kind of prince that's 3 years old, a boy king born, sometimes you've lost the genetic lottery and the kingdom kind of shivers. Because that is exactly what has happened. Because the Russian Empire is on the rise and they're howling at the gates right now because Tsar Noggano has arisen once more. And I am a Noggano fanboy. I will not say I'm not. I won't try and pretend I'm not. I'm just very happy that we all get to see this tremendous top 5 greatest of all time player play today.
Absolutely, yeah. Noggano, I think, has always produced really good games. He's he's a balanced player. I think if you want to see Company of Heroes played the standard format just very, very well, Noggano is one of those players to do that.
I will say one thing, I will take something back. J for Jet is always a surprise package, and he has knocked bigger and better players out many times. In its ruthless vehicle play, he goes for the jugular with vehicles and pisses players off. Players like Loveness, DevM, they all have said that they hate playing against J for Jet.
I think that's actually one of the really good thing about the newer breed of players that came into Company of Heroes in the last couple of years. We see it, not just with J for Jet. Kimbo is a good example. Any of those new top players, they kind of didn't take the KotH format or the format that was present at the start of KotH 2. They did their own thing. They analysed the game differently. They analysed it for the state that it was in, and I think we see a lot of diversity through these players.
You certainly do. Jay's one for bringing that diversity in. He seems to... I like players that don't play in the standard way like Noggano. They have their own style, and it's very, very unique to them. By the way, I just PM'd Noggano not to use the third commander in his loadout, which is the only banned commander in King of the Hill at the moment. So hopefully you read that. Hate to see a good game ruined.
Look at this, but a very sneaky mine just laid by Noggano there. It's kind of just inviting J for Jet to drive his universal carrier. And I think Jay maybe either saw it or knows that that's likely to be there.
Well, he's just trying to get the angle on the green cover already, so we don't know if he's seen anything quite yet because he needed to get around the edge of the tractor. But we'll see now that... he's going to go on the retreat, of course.
Right, let's just have a look at the start of this game. We see Noggano and getting the sandbags up on the central VP. He's wanting to lock down his positions, make sure he can hold territory. Although OKW, I think, should be a little bit more aggressive at the start of this game. He's already got a lot of map control, about to take double fuel. And
yeah. And one thing that can happen if you're too aggressive against Brits is you just get caught out in the open against Tommies, and they're behind green cover, and you just lose control quite quickly that way. So if you're a little bit more methodical, you can actually be a bit more aggressive at about the 5-minute mark. And especially if he gets a shot off with this Rakettenwerfer he's had to build, which is again has stemmed his early game aggression. Maybe we'll see him get into this very quickly indeed.
I guess he's perhaps banking on Jay upgrading the universal carrier and then maybe getting a shot off with the Raketten at the right time would be a great way to neutralize some of Jay's resources in the early game. I do just want to say, though, Jay is recovering from the situation he was in a moment ago very well. He's starting to get stable control of his map with some good defensive positions that the Brits thrive in.
Saying that, though, got Sturmgewehrs versus 2-man Tommies in the east. 4-man squad gets the garrison to protect them, but the damage is being done. And now the Sturm Pioneer is going to reposition. Oh, by the way, the mine went off. Don't know if we caught that.
Yes, that was the Tommies that blew up the mine. But no, unfortunately didn't catch that initially, but we know what detonated it. And that's a good thing as well, because triggering a mine that early has an adverse effect for Noggano, because of course now Jay's going to know what kind of game Noggano is playing, and will be able to get a tactical choice for minesweepers.
Yet again, now we've got 3 kills on the Universal Carrier, all of them Sturm Pioneers. could be more. He's pretending that there's a Rakettenwerfer, by the way. This is great play by Noggano. He's literally faking the Stern Pioneers to make the Universal Carrier think there's a Rakettenwerfer. So the Tommies have now come down in a southern position to scout for a Rakettenwerfer, and there isn't one, so it's gone badly for Noggano. Here comes the body block from the Focus Grenadiers. It works, and they haven't got a Panzerfaust either. So he's 2 feints from Noggano, both of them fail. Harried easily by Jay.
That was such a hairline as well, because the battle grouper is going up in the base for Noggano, so he nearly did have the Faust available.
When psychological games don't go your way, you're just left looking foolish. You know, if they do go your way, like when a boxer puts his hands behind his back, it looks cool, right? But when his opponent punches him in the chin, it doesn't look quite so cool anymore.
No, absolutely correct there. Noggano, by the way, responding to J4Jet's flanking on either side of the map. Jay's gone for fuel on the left. He's gone for the resource points quite far on the southern right-hand side. Noggano went straight up the center and decapped everything through a really good decision to get green sandbags up on that strategic point. So Jay now completely disconnected from resources. Just starting to get those sappers.
Nice Rakettenwerfer shot there. Universal Carriers just attained Veterancy 1. Rakettenwerfer max range. Will it get the shot again? Oh, close. Must have been close.
Very good shot, and perhaps a shame that he didn't get the full kill on it. Universal Carrier leaves with a great deal of health.
Not much at all. But good fuel capturing there, or cut-off capture rather, by Noggano. He's just locked in Special Operations Doctrine, so of course he'll have that access to many, many good commander abilities.
Get instant ban for picking Overwatch.
Yes, fantastic. Maybe he's shown an incredible amount of bias by influencing the game by messaging one of the players, but I mean, we got 2 medic supply Tommies coming against Focus Grenadiers with green cover with reinforced steel barricade, blocking off their opponent's aspects there. Nice and grenade dodge.
Trying to be a bit ballsy there to push them out of the cover, but Noggano had the extra squad, the reinforcements there, ready to hold it. So Jay's not going to securely get hold of that side.
Universal Carrier is a boss of the early game, and it's only got 4 kills, but a lot of health damage also, and it's just kept territories in Jay's control. And I did call that out at the start of the game. Jay's light vehicle micro is excellent.
Yeah, Jay's got a good eye for these things. I'm surprised though there's no upgrade on the Universal Carrier yet. He's just going for the mounted Vickers. So it's quite late, I think, to be making that. And he knows that Raketten's on the field, so a potential threat in this engagement.
Certainly. Sniper also coming out for Jay, so it's going to be an interesting build for Longrus, because of course snipers are excellent on this particular map. Long lines of sight and wide open territories. Here comes the Vickers. Machine gun meets machine gun in the west.
Look how Jay just he nearly captured the fuel whilst under the suppression of the MG. Now with the help of the Universal Carrier, he can push it off and cap the fuel, maybe even reversing the double fuel Noggano took early on. This is a really good game from Jay so far.
Certainly is in the west. However, in the east, that now means Noggano realised he's been beaten with 2 particular moves. However, the Rakettenwerfer still gets the shot off, nearly destroys the Universal Carrier there. It survives with a line of pixels.
Yeah, so the Raketten play has been very good, and I think Jay actually was potentially lucky there to get away with that. But if Noggano keeps doing what he's doing, he'll find success eventually. But look at the sniper in the centre, with the 2 5-man Tommy squads nearly wiping a Stern Pioneer.
Could have been close. I'll tell you what, that line of fire, the circle of range, was getting very close to the retreating squad as well. It's interesting that Noggano hasn't cancelled his second MG. He's just seen the sniper, and of course snipers eat support weapons for fun. It's surprising to me that he's carried on with that. He could have exchanged it possibly. Maybe gone for an ISG.
This is something I think he's going to struggle with. I think he's been countered in his infantry build, but because he's gone for battle grouper, he doesn't have access to things like the Lukes or the Puma to help him deal with the kind of mid-stage of this game. So I think actually Jay, if let's just say he happens to pick Royal Artillery Regiment and bring out some tasty Valentines, it could be a real problem for Noggano.
But by the same token, of course, Noggano's now going for tier 4 Panzerschwer, and that means we'll get an OKW Panzer Force, or maybe even a Jagd Panzer, both of which hard counter Valentine spam. So as long as they're protected, the Panzer 4 needs to get at least 1 kill before it can be deemed a hard counter.
It's going to be a while, given the fuel income, before he can get tier 4 and a vehicle. So I think he needs to start looking at some options in the meantime.
Agreed. It's not going too well. King,
I have to say, like, when you see the Brits at the start of the game just pushed back so hard by such a good player, and then the way that Jay has dealt with this, the way that he's put a strategy together to kind of counter it. By the way, Raketten in the building. Does it have the sight?
Oh, not quite. I do not think you can attack round from a building.
I don't believe you can. Which is a shame.
Look at this second built MG. Its first action on the battlefield is to get one of his squads headshotted by the sniper. Fuel control being regained by Noggano in the west. I think he's going to have to solidify the traditional Axis position in order to gain fuel control. Because Jay's has been too powerful. And here comes a death ball from Noggano, straight through the middle.
I like it. He's going to go cut those resources off again, and he might get a very late retreat sniper if he's lucky. Maybe if he stands those Volks still, takes benefit of the high accuracy.
Oh! So close, the negative cover kicked in there, and that's when 90% of the health of the sniper dissipated. As Stormer says, if they still a little bit quicker, maybe he could have gotten the kill there.
Beautiful game at the moment, starting to change hands again as Noggano comes back into strength. Look at the stats though, J4Jet 41 kills to Noggano's 18. Jay is still very much in the lead in a resource game, and whilst the map starts turning red at the moment, I think Noggano has limited time to get resources and a counter strat before Jay makes things really difficult.
Can be said in the competitive history of this game. I mean, we look back through Noggano's history, he wasn't always considered a top 5 all-time player. At one time he would have been a player of similar levels of consideration as J4Jet. Maybe we're going to see a swapping of the baton or of the torch in this particular game, and the apprentice will become the master. That'd be certainly an interesting one. Also, another point, Dan, this isn't a meme map, is it? It's a classic Company Heroes map. It's not like Khan, where we saw Jay's victories on last season.
Right, yeah. I mean, everyone knows this map. You should, if you're a serious KotH player, have some kind of knowledge and skill of this map. It's true. Actually, this map is a real slog, even with the changes, because the VPs have been brought closer to the center, like in the last year. It's still a real slog, it still sometimes can result in big indirect fire battles, or...
It's a player favourite. The only reason we haven't featured it in tournaments as of the last couple of years is because we have enough maps where the average length isn't 50 minutes. And with the recent changes to longers, I think the changes have probably just mean its average length is now lower than an hour. That's all it's done. It's a very well balanced map. People like to play on it. It's just it takes a long time to play. That's all.
Got a sniper, British sniper, making absolute work of these MG positions. 11 kills at the moment for Jay, so he's managing it well for the time we are in the game right now. And we like to see by about 20 minutes that there's like 1 kill per minute at least.
Yeah, it's been a high lethality game, and that's the sniper's certainly starting to add to that now with his 12th kill. Sturmgewehrs catch him unawares, make him soil his underwear. As elsewhere in the west, Royal Engineers hard countered, but they're sticking there because the Tommies are bringing the backup.
Yeah, really nice building pop, actually. Noggano is spending a lot of his munitions trying to get the Tommies out of cover positions. Things like buildings where they have a great vantage point. And this kind of movement by Jay is just slowly whittling down Noggano's resources, whilst Jay builds up his own, perhaps for teching upgrades.
Yeah, he's got a lot of fuel now. I've got a bit of he must have just teched to platoon, I imagine.
He has, yes.
Yeah, company command post rather is now in the build, so that's where his fuel just dive. But Noggano, by the way, has Schwer up, and he has 95 fuel in the bank, so give him 45 more, and we've got our first tank. So he's not exactly that far behind anymore. And that's the problem with Company of Heroes 2 and its territory resource system, is the standard points actually add up for a lot. It's 3 fuel per standard territory point, and Noggano has maintained a core base of at least 6 at most times in this game, which means he actually isn't that far behind in terms of fuel.
Yeah, I think we've calculated this before. It's kind of better because of the speed of capping strategic points. It's better to get 2 of these than actually just cap a high resource fuel point.
Certainly. It's a inverted map methodology.
Yeah.
One of those ones that people just hardcore agree on as well. And I hope in future Relic titles they revert it to the earlier game in the series with how that one worked maybe a bit more.
I hope so too.
Universe Carriers now hit Veterancy 3! There we go, boys! Oh, my Veterancy mod's not working again. I'm so upset. I'll have to change it out if I can in between games. Sorry, let me read the in-game description of Veterancy. The weapon is a lot better because the crew is more experienced. Thank you, Relic! Thank you. Who said this game was hard to learn?
I mean, yeah, let's be totally frank. I mean, the game was not originally intended to be competitive, just beautiful, and it is us cretins that have made life hard for Relic and showed them the potential of their game, which to be fair to them, they are updating regularly.
That's a pace of decades. By 2030, this game will fully be esports ready. Indeed, we've got Obers on the field, by the way. These guys have upgraded to the infrared STGs, causing all kinds of problems to the garrison and cover, as you would expect, with the bonuses given to that weapon.
Yeah, I really like this. The Cromwell has just hit the field, and this unit could not come out any quicker, really, for J4Jet. He needs something to just help tie up those OKW infantry, and the Cromwell's the perfect solution.
Oh, here it comes. This thing is a monster of the mid-game. Rover on the battlefield's got an excellent path. Rakenwerfer gets a shot in, but that's all it does. It's more of a tickle.
Got to be so careful with that Raketten, because Cromwell can easily decrew it at close range. So Jay is just making as much use of this Cromwell as he can for the time it's come out. He knows he's got an advantage, but the Panzer IV is building for Noggano, so this is only going to be a minute's worth advantage. Jay's just cleaning up.
Talking about with Jay, his game IQ is very high. He knows when he's got an advantage, when he's uncountered, and that might sound easy for a lot of players, but it's not. When you're up against somebody like Noggano, a lot of players will become more risk averse, meaning that they're scared of taking risks. Jay isn't that player. He's realised Noggano isn't planting mines, and he knows Noggano hasn't got a counter, so he just went on a Cromwell safari.
Well, as the reign of Cromwell ends, we have a new player in town, and that's going to be the Panzer IV, Noggano's answer to everything that Jay has on the field at the moment. Coming in with an interesting skin.
Yeah, that's a nice one. I like it. Certainly goes well with
camouflage.
Indeed. Cromwell's days are now numbered. He's going to have to possibly... Well, he's got the 6-pounder, actually. It's just not done anything yet, so it's already been built. And now he's going to bring it onto the battlefield. There we go. He's been waiting for its perfect moment, and this game is now so even. It's got armies, and the compositions really do well against one another. But one would say that possibly Noggano can translate his skill set better into the late game. I've always seen Jay as like a hit-and-run surprise tactics player. Maybe Noggano will have the brutal stamina and endurance that will outlast his opponent.
I don't know, I've seen Jay play some careful games, so I don't think nothing too serious has happened right now. Looking at 2 players with good armies. Remember, we still got Vet 3 Universal Carrier. It's I always say, look, if you've got one of these on the field still, like 20 minutes into the game, it says something.
We'll also have to see this sniper. It's got 22 kills now, so not only is it paid for its manpower investment, Panzer IV coming in, could get a big shot in on the retreat. Oh, tree was in the way anyway. 6-pounder pushes it away. And gets another shot in past the hay bales. That was an excellent attack ground shot in the fog of war.
I love the way that Noggano's just kind of locked down the map. It'd be good to see some mines down from him, which he seemed to utilize at the start of the game and then stopped. But actually, he's 2 MGs on OKW and then allowing the infantry to run between. He's got a very mobile, a front line that's very defensive, but also the elements within it are mobile from left to right. So it's really good.
He's upgunned every single infantry squad. He found a Bren for his Stern Pioneer, and he's got on the STG package for his Volksgrenadiers and for his Obersoldaten. So yeah, he spent all of his munitions on that, it seems. That might mean he'll be able to get a monster flank off on the sniper. We'll have to wait and see.
Just see that second Raketten coming out from Noggano. Feels like he needs a little more defensive power. And Panzer IV here, I think, actually getting itself in a bad position. Gets a shot from the AT gun, and the Cromwell wants to pursue.
Couldn't quite get there though. The Piats were getting within range. Panzer IV bricked itself and got the hell out of dodge. So in the East Volksgrenadiers, as soon as they vacate this green cover, they're going to have a difficult retreat path. Nice infiltration grenades though.
Got to be so careful of that. Cheap grenades, but they do a lot of damage.
By the way, triple cap for Noggano has pushed his opponent so far down on victory points. 187, and we're only 21 minutes in. On Long Graskaya, that is low.
Orders completed.
Well, Panzer IV is now ready to go again. And, left wondering what the next option is for Noggano. I assume it probably will be the Command Panther. And Jay's got to make the big decision. I wonder if he's going to go for that Crocodile. But here we go, Cromwell comes in.
Cromwell's coming down the rear path. Going to try and find the rear armour of the Panzer, but gets thwarted. And the Rakettenwerfer was lying in wait.
I love that. Do you know what? So many players would continue that push.
Oh, another Rakettenwerfer was on the north side. Nearly takes out the Cromwell. What great positioning by Noggano.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Panzer IV from Noggano gets a great hit off on the Tommies. Can the Volksgrenadiers finish it off on the retreat? Also getting the infiltration grenades on the house with the MGs. A quick escape from J for Jet as he has to abandon this entire position. Universal Carrier goes down to the
bites the dust. The Rakettenwerfer was lying in wait, and that hero Universal Carrier is now universally deceased.
Enemy movement on the flank.
A good engagement. Noggano played that very well. Suddenly Jay's army seems to be falling apart. Doesn't really have a specific stranglehold anywhere on the map.
Panzer IV, by the way, has now racked up its 4th kill, and it's just doing boss duty in the south. Triple cap again for Noggano. We're going to see Jay drop to double digits very quickly indeed, unless he can rectify this situation.
Yeah, very important that he gets on top of the VPs right now, and it's a very important thing for Jay. He also needs to be utilising the sappers to repair his Cromwell, which currently he's too busy on the field, too occupied to do that. But that's a unit that's going to be very, very important to him.
Can I just... Oh, what's this going on the field? It's artillery flares. Let's just see where Noggano's lighting up right now. Seems like he's got full visibility of the sniper. Obersoldaten marching down the battlefield to try and get an angle on them. That's exactly what he's done. He's just running after them. He doesn't give a crap. Oh, and the suppression, he's gone past it, has he? Yes, he has. Sniper's still backpedaling. Ober's still going after it. They're turning around now. He's going to have to go all the way back to base on a soft retreat. Hilarious. And then the Ober's going to full retreat themselves because they're so expensive. I love high-level play. It's so badass. As soon as the opportunity was lost and he didn't have the chance anymore, he's like, right, nope, these cost 40 manpower apiece. Retreat instantly.
Yeah, it's great good decision making. And what I liked as well is that he used these special operations flares to pop before he did that. So before he made the flanking maneuver, he made sure that he wasn't going to flank into an issue. So there's a lot going on there from Noggano. But Let's just talk about the problem that Jay has at the moment. I think he's saving for a crocodile. But really, I mean, is that going to be enough?
No, not... Well, maybe. I don't know. It might help him get 1 victory point back, but not 2, and he's struggling right now. Can I just point out, by the way, the problem hasn't been anything Jay's done in particular, but the sniper has not worked for him. And allow me to explain. It may have 31 kills, 32, but could you honestly tell me this player has been able to micro as efficiently as he would like to on the peripheral engagements of this map to keep victory points within his control? And it's not. I suppose you could answer that if you want, Stormers. Do you think the sniper has actually helped this player or not?
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because it's an economy drain at the cost of you having to focus on keeping that unit alive. So yeah, it's tough. Some players can manage it, but here, no.
That's what I'm saying. I've watched so much KotH over the years, and I see that this player has not been able to keep victory points. He's had a great sniper. I mean, wowee. He can't stay king, though, you know? He's going to lose because the victory points are draining away. And the sniper has been such a babysitting thing for him. He's had to sit there and move it around the battlefield. I mean, oh god, I'm just getting tired thinking about it. Clicking here, clicking there, clicking everywhere. Jesus Christ.
Stealth Raketten grabbing that VP on the left, and Jay is just about seeing that. Needs to get in there because it needs to at least keep 1 VP so that the Crocodile has some time to do some work. That 5 Volksgrenadier immediately sees it and knows to hit the retreat. Jay's got a lot to deal with right now, and I think this is probably the engagement that will decide this game.
Oh, look at this on the east victory point, by the way. There's a Volksgrenadier waiting to throw the infiltration grenade, over the corner of the building. So as soon as these guys cap, they're fucked. Oh, well, they will be, trust me. Sometimes takes a while. This has never happened to me before, Stormers. Please, just give me a moment. Here they go. Here they go. They're in the building. Meanwhile, yeah, the Crocodile's out in the west, and the Panther's pushing it away.
Yeah, the Panther Crocodile engagement's interesting. There is AT support there, so the Panther actually, I think, needs to be careful. Croc has enough armor to deal with the situation. Interesting, though, is this VP on the right. Jay's going to want to try and contest this whilst locking down mid and left. And this is where we're going to have to see some pretty intense micro, I think, actually, to manage this situation. That being said, he did wipe some squads of Nogganos in that last engagement, so Noggano's got less capping potential now.
Possibly does, yeah, indeed. Noggano has the hard counter for the Cromwell, certainly. We know the Churchill can tank Kappa the damage. The 6-pounder can certainly back it up. We just had a damaged engine on the Panther command tank. Here come the sappers. Piat's blaring. Crocodile's just memeing his way into the situation, but here comes the Cromwell. That thing could get around the rear armor, finish this thing off for sure.
Yes,
it does.
Command Panther down. Does J for Jet now have a window to be super aggressive? But a Raketten gets the Cromwell, I think, with help from the Panzer IV on the road.
It does, and you know what? That Panzer IV could reposition and take out the Churchill if he was feeling super aggressive. But Noggano right now knows he's got to act fast to finish this game off. Maybe he could just chill out and rebuild his forces, but certainly if he pounces now, he has the veterancy on all that infantry. He could get the second victory point and probably just eke the game out. 2 decisions he could possibly make there.
Oh, you know, Noggano's got so many VPs though. I mean, he's got a lot of time to build those units back up to, you know, to save some resources and bring something new onto the field. What he doesn't want to do, I think, is rush this, because if you start running out onto all the VPs and you start losing units, that's where we see players lose games heavily.
Gets his Raketten for back, so there we go. Although he's lost the Command Panther, he's certainly rebuilding his support weaponry core. That's Panzer IV's just sitting in the east right now. Hopefully going to allow the Stern Pioneers to get up and capture the victory points.
Crocodile was such a good choice here, actually, from Jay. I think he correctly predicted that Command Panther would be out around that time. And putting a highly armoured unit that was able to deal with all the infantry and the MGs, the Rakettens, so capably. It's probably the best move that he could have made.
Well, the great thing about it is it literally acts as a traditional kind of computer gaming tank for the Cromwell. So it tanked the damage like a Reinhardt and allowed the Cromwell to get around the side like a Tracer. I know Overwatch is banned, Dan, but I thought I'd use it as an analogy.
No mention of Overwatch.
Sorry.
I think
Just
you
nice
should
to-
also be subject to the trolling is an immediate ban rule.
Then I can't cast. Panzer IV repositioning into the centre. Tommy's time in that building is numbered. But as I say, Noggano seems to have gone down the second path of just repositioning and rebuilding his forces. Because as Dan rightly mentioned, he has a hell of a lot of victory points left. Although he's been under a triple cap, he's certainly got a big margin for error still.
So Jay there just manually selecting the Volksgrenadiers to make sure he suppressed both squads as Noggano was trying to flank. Crocodile is now fully repaired and moving up with the AT gun. This suggests to me that they're going to go for that tier 4 structure, maybe try and pin Noggano down in his base. And that is a really good idea, offense being the best defense. Here he
God,
comes.
here comes Jay. He's getting deep within Noggano's battle lines. Crocodile's been penetrated from the front, but the 6-pounder watches on.
Ooh, sniper got suppressed then, and that's bad because the sniper ability would have turret locked the Panzer IV.
What a gift for Noggano. A 6-pounder is exactly what he needs. This will allow him to build a Panzer IV instead of the Command Panther and have to save. So this will allow him to get another tank on the battlefield much more quickly if he gets this 6-pounder. What a gift.
Bet you he salvages that, you know.
Oh yeah, probably. But it's just the AT that he needs, you know, because Raketenwerfers are great, but a 6-pounder just packs that better punch. So yeah, looks like the Tommy's going to pick it up.
Ooh, Jay is going to bring out the Sherman Firefly.
Interesting.
I really
that's
like
exactly
this.
why the 6-pounder would be excellent. He just needs to get it.
That Firefly is going to be really, really helpful. The infantry is really countered. Even the support weapons are so countered by that Crocodile. Having the Firefly there would just make things too difficult for the Panzer IV or the Command Panther to...
Yeah, it's a good one for synergy, you know. Really does work well. Sniper, you can't argue with 45 kills, although certainly when he was getting drained for victory points, it was a very valid point of mine to make. You know, the longer the sniper is on the battlefield, of course, it's like the march of the glacier. It will bring you down over time.
Did you just state that your own point was valid?
At that point in time...
I mean, it was excellent casting by AE.
Fantastic point, Matt!
I did
Over
make
to you,
a
Dan.
fantastic point earlier, and it
was correct. I'm not backing down from the point. I don't want to be contradicting myself. Me from 10 minutes ago made a decent point. It's just it's no longer valid now because the sniper's been raping face. And you know, his composition with that Firefly and the Churchill, he doesn't have to be as active anyway.
Well, Jay, I kind of wonder if Jay really should have held off where he was in the center of the map before. Has that push kind of kept him off the field for longer than needed? Because now 2 VPs capped by Noggano. The ticker is going down again for J for Jet.
How can that happen? Surely Noggano is just so good at those tactical little decisions here and there with infantry positioning. He just seems to win and pull the rug from underneath you when you least expect it. And then again, he has 2 victory points. And he's pushed Jay down to 55, stalled in the east for the time being. And he has destroyed the 6-pounder. I put so much emphasis on that thing. I was certain that would allow him to go for another Panzer IV, maybe. Well,
the point you made earlier, AE, was really good, Matt.
No, it was terrible now. that one was terrible. I am backing down fully. I would like to apologise and retract all previous statements on picking up the 6-pounder. It was a rash decision, and I've offended the community.
Well, Obersoldaten on the right-hand side, forced to run back through absolute hell as they have to go against the upgraded Brenz on Tommies. That being said, Noggano has an answer to the garrison's units. Jay needs to get them out of there, otherwise they will...
That was so close!
Fortunately, not much health went down on the house there.
It's random as anything, isn't it? Sometimes that would have wiped every squad on the battlefield. At once.
Oh man, when squads get suppressed, Noggano's going to have to retreat immediately because the Crocodile is defending that right VP, and somehow Jay is going to get that triple cap back. So Noggano was not able to simultaneously attack all those VPs and hold it.
50 kills on the Scotsman in base right now. That has been a very effective sniper for certain. Rakettenwerfer's getting into that central victory point. It's going to slow the tide of the bleed. Because the tide has turned against Noggano. There's no doubting it now. He's had a recent flurry, some body shots in. But he's not landed a haymaker for the last 3 or 4 rounds.
Jay got in that point actually as the circle for capping disappeared. You know, couldn't have been a finer hairline there. But actually, as soon as he hit the retreat button, he was decapped. And it's a shame, you know, he wants to keep that VP drain going. Triple cap's really, really useful to him right now.
Here comes the Crocodile in the east again. You can surely hear it in the fog of war. It's such a menacing sound. Just trundling its way towards you. Like a World War I rhombus tank.
And Jay still has to be careful because, you know, obviously Noggano knows where that unit is and it's likely he's going to be bringing counters. So you see him there running up with the Volksgrenadiers, having the Raketen behind so that he can get the hit and then snare. That of course hasn't worked again. So the Crocodile perhaps going to claim an MG.
Noggano's gotten 284 fuel. He certainly has enough for a Panther, but he's just being drained by that sniper. Drained by the Crocodile if he gets close enough to it. And it's been really tricky for him to accumulate the manpower to get another turn count. Panzer IV's coming to deal with the trench in the west.
Absolutely, but we should see that Firefly is going to come over, and I think perhaps we may see some tulips here. It'd be a good decision by Jay maybe to stun that tank, get the final shots off.
Almost with a big long-range shot there. The Churchill Crocodile's coming to deal with the Volksgrenadier menace in the centre. Rakettenwerfers have repositioned, but they're just going to tickle the Behemoth.
Perhaps it would have made more sense to rename the Crocodile the Firefly for obvious reasons.
Fire certainly flies from it, that's for certain. And the Rakettenwerfers have had to fly like the fools they are right now, straight back to base. Noggano is a beaten man, it seems. 80 victory points and dropping. Jay has a very large and all-encompassing army sitting on the centre of the battlefield, daring his opponents to make one last thrust.
Oh, look at that. Noggano is pressured. He feels the heat. He wants to try and dive in, but there's a Vet 2 Firefly ready and waiting. One more hit required. There it is. Panzer IV is down just as the Command Panther hits the field. Perhaps a bit of a waste.
A waste indeed. He knew his second tank was coming, but as we've all rightfully seen, Noggano is pressured right now. He's making rash decisions. Rakettenwerfer's backing up the Command Panther. This is last-ditch effort stuff. Late war Axis at its finest.
The Firefly says no. Big hit.
Oh,
Gets it!
Big authoritative no! Gets it from max range! And the Firefly wins the game for J for Jet.
GG. Whew. Game 1. J for Jet manages to retain his position as king over Noggano, and actually, I didn't know if he was going to make that one
coming.
No,
I mean,
not at all.
the odds on J for Jet would have been quite, long, I guess, on that one. J for Jet, by the way, says in chat, never got to check how many kills my sniper had. I'll check that for you now. It had 55 kills, the sniper. 55.
I think I forgot to turn something off. Thank you for
What's
the
that,
bit share then. Just randomly just started playing that sexy sax man careless whisper, which means
Oh, right, I'm with you.
which means that yeah, I didn't turn that donation thing.
Yeah, I might need to readjust my microphone, by the way. I don't know what happened
I can
with
turn you down. I can turn you
Yeah.
down.
Unless Boost is kicked in due to that weird app that we're using. Hang on a second. Maybe it's that. Just hang on a
Don't change
second.
anything. Don't let me turn it down because
Yeah, it's not Boost. It's definitely something at your end. I'm at 50. Got a request for ASMR. Tobus's tanks are flanking. His preservation is wonderful. How was that, Tobus? Was that good for you? That costs extra, you know. That kind of stuff. Subscribers get my Snapchat, by the way.
no, they don't.
Dan, it's a joke. Dan, not everything is serious. Sometimes things are jokes. You're puzzled by this.
Like maybe my dad is in hospital. Yeah.
Maybe my dad didn't go out to get cigarettes.
Okay, I think I fixed that. There was an alert that came through just then, so I think I've stopped that. Thank you very much for the cheer. Anyway, I think that was coolio. Anyway, let's get the next players and map selected, so that can go on, and then we can start talk between that. So AE, please, the wheel.
Yes, spin the wheel.
Thanks. I'll bother asking you to introduce it next time.
No, I'll do it. I like to catch people off guard sometimes.
All right. This time, it's going to be... Oh, looks like a moderator pick. So, mods in my Discord, have yourselves a little vote. Remember to tag me in chat and let us know who you want to play against J4Jet.
So we do have many ways of choosing the players. We have the viewer pick, subscriber pick, mod pick, AE pick, Stormers pick. Everybody gets a pick. It's just that 700 of you isn't as valuable as one of me. But that's democracy for you. I'm an oligarch. I own the oil, so I get to pay for more votes.
Waiting for that selection.
Here it comes. The selection.
Sorry, let them have a bit of a chat. By the way, whilst the mods are doing that, for anybody that hasn't seen the spreadsheet yet, which you can ! Information if you want a link to this. This spreadsheet, which has been tidied up today by AE very nicely. This is all being managed by the kind of mod team that we have. That we've got like a collective group of people that like to mod in Company of Heroes 2. And modding today, I think you've got Angel, Legio, Ishtari's there. J4Jet mods when he's not king. So we promise you he's not making moderation decisions and reffing decisions whilst playing. But you guys can keep up to date with all the episodes. You can see who's played every week. You can see how they won. You can see what the scores are. So do check that out. All right, let's have a
Carnation,
look.
by the way. That's the pick Legio has given us. And I know this player has been waiting to play in King of the Hill since 1997. So it's a big victory for him that he is now finally given the opportunity.
You know what we have to do though, Matt? We have to pick the map. And you know what we have to do to pick the map?
Yes, I do. We have to spin the wheel of maps. We need something that rhymes with maps. I couldn't
You
think
come
of
up-
anything.
you come
I
up
was
with a
trying to
rhyme,
stall it.
And
I was
I'll
trying to
spin the wheel.
stall it. Okay. How long do I have? Maps. Things that rhyme with maps. Things that rhyme with maps. Ah. Thank
AE's
you,
casting
Rhyme
is.
Caps. Lap. Scrap. Aha! While the mere mortals fight for scraps. And, while the, A claps. Let's spin the wheel of maps. Come on, Dan. Do it. Do it now.
It spun ages ago.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So Faymanville approach.
I can't see it spinning, but Faymanville, that's good. I can actually see it's in chat and people are reacting to the map. I'm blind, guys. I can't see the wheel like you guys can. But yeah, Faymanville approach. Let's do it.
All right, just update the.
Lost Glider was all right last week, actually.
Really enjoyed Lost Glider. Actually, I've never minded that map, to be honest. I think it produces interesting games, which is